Welcome, everyone. I'm going to go grab a chair. Hey, Neil. Are y'all in here? I'm going to use this chair so that way I can do the stream. Come on in. Come on in. Move that way, Alex. Ouch. Crap. That hurt. Okay. Hey, everybody. Come on in. Come on in, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Is the volume better? Let me know if the volume's better. Hey, everybody. Hey, Heather. What's up, you guys? My name is Nicole. I am a person in long-term recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. And today we're going to talk all about Suboxone. Suboxone, sex drive, energy, depression, pain, everything. Problems at the pharmacy. We're talking about it all in today's stream. So, in fact, let me fix that. I don't like how that looks. Like that. And then we'll put y'all like that. Oh, yeah. That's a lot better. Straight on so that way you can... Okay. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Drop your sobriety dates in the comment section for me. Show me how long you've been sober. If you're not sober, that's okay too. Let me know what you're using and if you want to get sober or not. Of course, I hope that you do want to get sober, but I understand if you're struggling and you're not sober yet. So, no judgment here. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Share the live stream for me. Share the live stream for me if you don't mind. There we go. Okay. Come on in, everyone. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, you guys. 18 months. That's awesome. 3 years, 6 months. Good job, Heather. Hey, Birdwell. All right. You guys come on in. So, today we're going to talk about Suboxone. Okay? We're going to be talking a lot about Suboxone. For those of you guys who need support, come on in and hang out with us. If you're not on Suboxone, that's okay. You can stay and hang out with us too. Okay? I just got done on a live stream with Dr. B. If you guys didn't get to check that out, we talked about veterans and people who've been to war and substance abuse. And it was a really good live stream. A lot of people showed up. And it's always a good time when you can talk to other people and relate to other people about your experiences. I uploaded a video today about Suboxone and sex. Specifically, the lack thereof that's been happening to me since I've gotten prescribed Suboxone. And I don't think a lot of people talk about the struggle that people in newly in recovery have with acclimating to being sober and not using substances anymore. That's one of the things that I struggled with the most when I got sober was my body and my feelings changing. You know what I'm saying? And so since getting sober, I used to be a sex maniac, partly because I was shooting methamphetamine and partly because I just love sex. But it's changed a lot since getting sober, so I want to talk about that. I'm not one of these people that's embarrassed to talk about sex. We're all grown adults here. So I hope you guys are ready to have a grown adult conversation. Okay? So here we go. When I met my husband, one of the first things that drew me to him was how cute he was. Like, I was automatically attracted to him. Like, our sexual compatibility was off the charts. Like, he could look at me and I felt great. You know what I mean? He could look at me and I was like, oh yeah, baby. And so when we met, we were like knocking boots, you know, all the time. We would have sex sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a day. Okay. Then once we started using stimulants together, we started fucking even more. And so it was a lot, you know, and when you're using drugs, stimulating your body with drugs and then you're having sex, it's like very euphoric. And that's what it was like for me and my husband. In 2014, we gave birth. I had my little boy. And even after having my son, I still had a really healthy appetite for sex. You know what I mean? Like, I was still super attracted to my husband and just wanted to be intimate with him. Then in 2015, Nathaniel was taken from us by the Department of Human Services, CPS. And when that happened, I got to put a bra on, y'all. Hold on just a second. My boobs are like making me sweat. The Department of Human Services stepped in and removed my son because of my addiction. My best friend called CPS on me. Well, when that happened, everything changed. Everything changed. I went into treatment. I stayed in treatment for 30 days. And when I came out of treatment, my husband had gotten on Suboxone. Well, when I found out that he was on Suboxone, at first I was really upset with him because I was like thinking that he was just trying to like kind of manipulate the system, and I thought he didn't really want to get sober, right? Well, I was wrong. That's not what it was. He knew that Suboxone could help him stay sober, and I didn't have any experience with it like that. So about 3 days went by, and I was white-knuckling it, and that's when I went to the doctor and I got on Suboxone too. Best decision I ever made, let me say that. Now, once I got on Suboxone, that's when everything changed. I didn't notice it immediately. It was probably about 30 to 60 days after getting onto Suboxone that I noticed the decrease in my sex drive. And at that time, me and my husband were so focused on getting our son back that we didn't really have time to be worried about whether or not we were having sex or not. So it was like a thought that didn't really come up in conversation because we were just so focused on getting Nate back. Like, we were fighting. We fought our asses off to get my son back because the state was not trying to let me have my son back. They were trying to deem me unfit. They were trying to say that I was mentally unstable. No, I'm not mad at her anymore. Hey, Margie, what's up, girl? We're talking about sex and Suboxone, girl, so come on in. Hey, Margie, will you do me a favor? Can you share this video anywhere that you know people are? So, after about, I would say that first year of being on Suboxone, I was so preoccupied with fighting for my son that having sex was an afterthought. It was not in my mind. And that really helped me, you guys, because the first year I was sober, I was so focused on staying sober. I was so focused on going to meetings. I was so focused on going to counseling and therapy. I was so focused on fighting for my son and staying sober. The first year I was sober, I was kicking ass and taking names. That's a lot of the times why I see people here on the internet with 20 days sober. Sorry, guys. With 20 days sober, 60 days sober, 90 days sober. And I say things like, hey, guys, you need to focus on your recovery because the first year of your sobriety is crucial. Okay? It is literally when you are going to be making every change in your life. Everything, right? And so if you're preoccupied and distracted with Facebook and TikTok and all this bullshit, then you could relapse, you know what I mean? And so my suggestion to anyone in early recovery is to get rid of your fucking TikTok, get rid of your Facebook, get rid of all that stuff, okay? You don't need it. Right now you need to help yourself and focus on yourself. And you need to be hanging out with people who have multiple years of sobriety to show you the way. Like I'm telling you guys, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that will all be here, okay? But go out there and get yourself a solid foundation in sobriety, a solid foundation, okay? Now, back to the Suboxone and the sex. So I guess it would probably be about a year. We got Nate back. And then I started making YouTube videos. So I stayed sober for a year before I ever started my YouTube, TikTok, any of that. Well, that's when I started to realize that I hadn't had sex with my husband in like 8 months. And it was just like, it hit me out of nowhere. Like, wow, what's going on? Like, why aren't we having sex? And so I started thinking, is it me? Is he not attracted to me anymore? Does he not love me anymore? Did I do something wrong? Right? All these thoughts were going through my mind. Maybe he's cheating on me. Maybe he's seeing, maybe he doesn't want to have sex with me. Maybe all these things, right? That were going through my mind that I was thinking were going on, but that wasn't the case. I sat down with my husband and I was like, we haven't had sex in like 8 months. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, are you upset with me? Like, and he goes, Nicole, honestly, I just haven't even thought about it. And he goes, because my husband had been prescribed Suboxone before me. So he had experience with it. He goes, it's probably the Suboxone. And that's when it hit me. I was like, it is. We're not having sex because we're on Suboxone, and we literally just don't get horny. Okay? So for those of you guys that are not on Suboxone, let me explain it to you. You know how, like, in your regular, normal relationship with your loved one, like, you could be laying down at night and you're cuddling and they, like, brush your side or touch you on the leg, and then you get that, like, that heartbeat down there, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, oh, yeah, it's time. Right? Thank you, Margie. I love you, girl. And Beasley family, not everybody is going to have experience this, but I just want to share with you guys because me and my husband have. And a lot of people commented on the video I put up about it because they were having the same issue. And so, you know how you get that feeling and then y'all are like, ooh, it's time to do the damn thing. That feeling just doesn't come for me and my husband on Suboxone. And so sitting down and talking to each other, because it's very important for me and my husband to be intimate. It's very important for anybody in a relationship to have time with their loved one intimately and privately. You know what I mean? And so we sat down and I told my husband, I was like, we've got to make a point to basically be like, let's get it on. You know what I mean? Let's have sex. I have to make it a point to tell my husband, like, I want to have sex. I want to feel loved. I want to feel good. You know what I mean? Because if I don't say anything to him, then we both just kind of go on through our day because we have our schedule, we wake up in the morning, we get our son ready for school. My husband then goes to work, then I go to work, and then I'm cleaning the house and doing laundry. Then I go pick up Nathaniel. Then my husband comes home after that. We eat dinner. We give Nate a bath. It's all like a schedule. We're talking about Suboxone and sex, girl. And so, that schedule was just kind of like going on and we were never talking or saying anything about it. And that was another thing that was like really hard for me and my husband, because when we were in active addiction, you guys, it was like we talked all the time. We talked about everything because we were high, and so we always had things going on in our mind, all these things going, right? Well, when we got sober, it was just like all that just came to a halt because we changed so much when we got sober. I went from being like this fly by the seat of my pants, wild party girl, to basically being a nun. Okay? My husband met me and I was couch surfing, sleeping at my friend's house on her couch, paying rent to sleep on her couch. And I was a literal party animal, sex fiend. And so once I got sober, all that changed. Haley, I was addicted to methamphetamine intravenously, cocaine intravenously, Xanax, benzos, any benzos, and oxy. But basically anything, though. I'm a poly addict, but the 3 things that I stayed consistently using was meth, oxy, and benzos. So, my addiction started out with stimulants, though. I was on stimulants the whole 13 years I was addicted. So it's like a hard transition, you guys, when you go from one way to another way. And I was so afraid, I might get a little emotional about this too. I was so afraid that my husband and I were not going to love each other anymore. I was so afraid that when we got sober that he would leave me. I had always heard my friends that got sober tell me stories about people who they knew who were couples, and when they got sober they didn't have anything in common anymore, and so they left each other. And so I remember going into my mind and thinking, what if my husband falls out of love with me? What if he doesn't love me because I'm sober now, you know? And so, and I really felt like that. I really, really felt like that. And I think my husband felt like that too. He just doesn't talk about things like I do. So it was probably a good year and a half after being prescribed Suboxone that we sat down, and I just was like, we need to be together. We need to be intimate. I need to know that you're attracted to me. I need to know that you love me. And my husband was like, I love you. I always love you. I'll never not love you. You know what I mean? But for a man, because men think differently than women do. You know, women are more like affectionate and touchy, and it's just different. So once I sat down and I voiced that to my husband, like, hey, you know, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. I want to make it a point to have sex. That helped us so much, you guys. And so basically, if I want to have sex, I can say to my husband, I want to have sex. And then we plan it out. We have to, because if we don't, then we have, you know, Nate running around. But once we get started, it's great. Everything happens. I can get, you know, aroused. I can have an orgasm and all that. And so can he. It's just the initial, like, not being able to feel aroused. You know what I mean? Like, naturally. Another thing that we kind of started to do was like talk to each other while we were intimate. And when we were in our active addiction, we would do a lot of crazy stuff, you know, toys and flipping me around upside down, hitting from the back and the side, underground, all kinds of stuff. So when I got sober, I was really self-conscious. I was really self-conscious because my body changed drastically. I went from being about 125, 130 pounds to 200 pounds. And so it was really fucking hard for me to be comfortable with my body. I can remember one day we were having sex, and we were in our spare bedroom because Nathaniel was asleep, and the lights were on, and I went and made it a point to put the lights off to make it dark. And my husband said to me, why are you shutting off the lights? I want to see you. And I cried. I just started crying because I said, because I don't feel like I look pretty. I feel like I'm ugly. And you won't be attracted to me. And so, I know it's hard to talk about because it's hard to talk about because it's like something that we're not used to talking about. But that's what I told him. I said, because my body it's not the body that I've always known, you know. I feel so out of my element. I feel so insecure. You know, I used to be a woman that the way I met my husband was he came over to my house. He stayed the night with me that night, and I striptease danced for him, y'all. Like, literally, I was that girl who was, like, so confident. I remember I had on a matching bra and panties, and I was just like, pew, 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 you know what I mean? And I knew, like, I radiated this, like, sexual confidence. You know what I mean? Like, I was just so sexual. And now I don't feel like that. Like, I feel like a fish out of water having sex because I don't feel okay. I feel out of my element, you know? So one of the things that helps me is my husband telling me, like, I love you, you're beautiful, I want to see you, I want to touch you, I want to see what I'm touching. And we talk to each other about those things. You know, we don't have a perfect relationship. Yes, Nat, I am on 2 milligrams. We don't have a perfect relationship, you guys, but we don't fight. That's one thing I noticed yesterday. I was telling him, I said, you know, we don't really fight or anything. He goes, we have some disagreements sometimes, but other than that, we do a great job of working together and parenting our son and, you know, doing our little life together. But these are things that you guys too have got to talk to your loved one about, your significant other about, okay? I need reassurance all the time. And my husband knows that because he's gotten so used to me. I said, do you love me? I say that probably 16 times a day. Isn't that crazy, you guys? And it's not because I don't think he loves me, but it's because I just want to hear him say it, I guess. I don't know. But, a lot of people will tell me, you know, since I've gotten on Suboxone, I don't have any, I don't feel anything, or I don't get excited about anything. Now, I will tell you guys this, like, I have not experienced that. As you can see, I'm very emotional. I feel everything. But what I have noticed, besides my sex drive, is that the lack of energy that I have and motivation. And so I also wanted to talk to you guys about that, because that's some things that I'm working on. You know what I mean? I know that if I want to have energy and have motivation, that I have to get out and move around and do stuff, right? But the two-edged sword is that I don't have energy or motivation to get up and do it. And so what I've been doing is pushing myself. You know, I started on the Truvy Boost for my diet, and I've been going outside and getting out in the sun and walking around and taking my son on his go-kart. Even if it's just a little bit, you guys, just walking outside with your kids, going up and down the road, going out, just 20 minutes a day. I'm telling you guys, it'll change your life. Change your life. The main thing I want to tell you guys about sex and Suboxone is you need to talk to your significant other. There has to be communication, okay, about what you guys are feeling, about your insecurities, about all of that. And then when you start talking to your loved one about this and you tell them, I love you, I'm attracted to you, I want to have sex with you, let's make a sexy date time. That's what we call it. It's called sexy date time. And basically, like, we block out days over the week so that way we can do it. You know what I mean? Subs are the only thing that motivates me for real. That's great. And here's the thing. So some people, Vandy, I don't know, Vandy. I don't know if you just, hey Jade, what's up, honey? I don't know if you just started on Suboxone, but what I have noticed is, hey Jordan, when I first started on Suboxone, I had the same result. I had energy. I felt great. I wanted to do all these things. But the longer that I've been on it, the different it has been. So you start out, you guys, and you go into, like, you get on Suboxone and it's like, this is saving you, right? You have all this hope, this energy. You're like, yes, this is changing my life. At least that's what happened for me. And then 1.5 years, 2 years into it, I'm like, I feel like not myself. But you know what it is? It's because I didn't know myself. The only person I knew was me on drugs. Okay? I don't even remember Nicole before she got on drugs. That's how young I was. I was 17, 16 years old when I first started using drugs. And so when I reflect back on 17-year-old Nicole, I can barely remember what I enjoyed or anything like that. And so this is a whole new me. Okay? Just like this is a whole new you. All right. And so part of the battle is communication, you know, communication with your significant other and talking about it, man, and making those special days. Now, like I was saying about the energy, I think I just saw Jade said we can do squats right now while we're talking. I mean, yeah, sure we can. I used to do these exercises with my friend Nick, you guys. And he and I would do live stream exercises on YouTube. And he would literally kick my ass and take my name. I would be doing squats and what are those things where you jump? They do them in prison. I can't remember what they're called. Burpees, all kinds of stuff, okay? And so, yeah, and so we used to do exercises on my YouTube channel, y'all. I could do that here, I guess, with you guys if y'all want me to. And so those are things that will help you to get more energy, okay? As much as I hate it, it's the truth. If you want to get energy, if you want to feel better about yourself, move around. Whether it's, like I said, just doing squats, okay? These little things right here, these little things right here, you know? Do I have any advice for a 16-year-old mom? Talk to your mom. Let her know that you're pregnant. Don't hide it, honey. Don't hide it, okay? And get ready, because being a mom is no joke.
I got you a bean burrito and some tacos.
Okay, thank you. Being a mom is hard work, but you're going to be just fine, honey. Yeah. So here's the thing, you guys, and listen to me. Use Suboxone as something to help you, okay? And self-isolated, listen to me, okay? I want you to change the way you talk. Even typing that out and saying, I can't do shit without subs. You're manifesting that shit in your life. Stop saying I can't and say I can and I will. One of the things that helped me the most in my recovery is that I changed the way I spoke. Okay, I speak about how I don't say I can't do anything. I say, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how it's gonna be. We're gonna have a bean burrito, you guys, okay? Together. Yes, I followed him, Jennifer. What do you think about the shot? Which one? The Suboxone shot? I think it's amazing. My friend is on it. My friend Diana is on it. She's in the chat. Yeah, so it's all about mindset. Exactly, Coley. And let me tell y'all this. It's also about mindset when you're going through withdrawal, you guys. So a lot of you guys make it so much harder on yourself than it has to be because you're already telling yourself, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to make it. And that's what makes you not make it. I'm telling you. The day I stopped telling myself I can't was the day that my life changed. It saved my life to change how I talk to myself and be more positive. Oh, Vivitrol? Girl, no. Vivitrol is for people that have been sober 7 to 10 days. I don't mind. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I don't recommend it to people because a lot of people can't even make it 7 to 10 days. So, I think that Vivitrol is for a certain person. It's for a person who can maintain their sobriety and isn't going to be having like cravings. Let me tell y'all a story about a young lady who we put on Vivitrol at Dr. B's office. Okay, so she comes to us and we told her we're going to put you on Suboxone, and she said no, I don't want to go on Suboxone. And so we were like, why? And she said, I don't want to have to worry about coming off of anything. And so we were like, okay, you don't have to get on it, of course. She said, I want to do Vivitrol. So we put her on the Vivitrol shot. Let me tell y'all what happened to this girl. She calls me because I'm kind of like a patient case manager. And so once the patients get inducted or start their meds or whatever, then I talk to them on the phone and I help them, support them and stuff like that. So she calls me one day and she's like, I really want to use heroin. And I was like, well, you can't. You're on the Vivitrol shot. I was like, you know, why don't you come to some meetings with us? I'll send you like a link to my YouTube channel and TikTok and you come hang out with us. I even offered to help her find a sponsor, everything, okay? About 3 days later, she calls me back. She says, I used heroin, but I didn't feel it. I was like, well, and she says, I cut the Vivitrol shot out of my body. And I was like, what? And she said, I took a knife and I cut the injection site and I squeezed the shit out of me. And so I called Dr. B 911. Dr. B. So-and-so cut their Vivitrol shot out. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I mean, she took a knife, cut the spot where the Vivitrol was out, and was squeezing the stuff out. Okay? And he was like, well, you know, that's not going to work, but okay. And I was like, no, she's relapsing on heroin. What are we going to do? And so, of course, we called her into the office to come in for an appointment. And long story short, y'all, she ended up relapsing and going back out big and bad. And she ended up in the hospital almost dead, y'all. So, now she's on Suboxone. And doing great. And staying sober. Oh, hey, Crystal. What's up, girl? Ashley, what happened? So, nothing against Vivitrol, but like the video. Did you guys watch 4 Good Days with us the other day? We watched the movie here on TikTok together. They had no business giving her the Vivitrol shot. She should have been inducted onto Suboxone or methadone right away. Her being a, like, literal flight risk drug addict who could have went out and shot heroin, relapsed, and died any second. She should have been inducted onto MAT and not ever had to wait, okay? That was the stupidest shit I've ever seen in a movie, which I do not understand why they did that. Like, why didn't they just put her on Suboxone? And that just shows you the stigma, because she was a perfect candidate for that, you know? Really, Ashley? Did you sue them? Okay. The difference between Sublocade, the movie was 4 Good Days. 4 Good Days. The difference between Sublocade and Vivitrol is Sublocade is buprenorphine. Vivitrol is not, y'all. Vivitrol is just naloxone, and it's just literally a blocker. Buprenorphine or Sublocade has buprenorphine in it, which is a partial opioid agonist. Wow, I'm so sorry, Ashley. Yes, I'm having a Taco Bell taco and a burrito. So, well, it just depends, okay? So, Tammy, I'm going to be straight up with you, girl. The reason why I prefer Sublocade or Suboxone over Vivitrol shot is because I've seen more people be successful with them. The reason being is because it does have that opioid go into your brain. That's what's helping with the cravings. Okay? When you're on Vivitrol, it's really just there. It's just there to make sure you can't get high on anything. And so that's why I like Suboxone and Sublocade better, because it's actually helping with that craving, you know? And also what happens with the Vivitrol shot is people don't go back and get it. I have a friend. He is so against getting on Suboxone. He keeps on getting a Vivitrol shot, but then guess what he does? He doesn't go back the next 30 days and get his shot again, and he goes out and relapses on fentanyl. He's done this like 5 times since I've known him. He goes back and forth, gets the Vivitrol shot, stops taking it, relapses. Gets the Vivitrol shot, stops taking it, relapses it. How long do you have to be clean to get it? To be on Suboxone, you have to be in withdrawal. Okay, so you have to have like a 14 to 16 score on the clinical opiate withdrawal scale, and then you can induct onto it. So like, usually it's about 48 hours, and then you can take it. Hey, Ballyhoo, how you doing, honey? Yes. Yes, Sublocade is the one that they inject into your stomach. I think it's your stomach, and it's like a little ball in there, and it just slowly releases buprenorphine throughout your system through the month, okay? And so as it's going like that, what you'll do is you'll have a follow-up appointment and get another injection. So the point is to stack the medication up, so that way you don't have any like withdrawal or anything like that. And so you get that shot, you guys. I have a friend of mine that has been on the shot. She took it for 8 months or 6 months, and she's been off of it for 8 or 9 months, and she has been doing great. She hasn't had any withdrawal yet or nothing like that. Now, she is still testing positive for buprenorphine. So, but what's happening is it's slowly leaving her system. Yeah, blunts, there are. And so with the Sublocade shot, you have to be on Suboxone first. You cannot just get on the Sublocade shot right away. Tammy, whatever state you're in, if you message me, I can send you a list of telehealth doctors or a doctor in your state. So blunts, you're already on Suboxone. All you have to do is go talk to your doctor about it. Now, I'll tell you what my doctor said. I went to my doctor, what was it, 3 weeks ago? Okay, Tammy, if you'll message me, I'll send you a place that you can go, okay? Just send me a DM. I went to see my doctor like 3 weeks ago, and you guys know I'm on 2 milligrams of Suboxone. So I was asking him if I could get on the Vivitrol or on the Sublocade shot. And at first he was like, yeah. And then he goes, wait a second, you're only on 2 milligrams. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, no, it would be pointless for you to go on to the Sublocade shot because we would have to take you back up in dose. And he goes, I don't want you to have to do that. I don't want you to have to go back up to 8 milligrams because we've already got you down to 2 and you're doing really well, right? And my doctor is so supportive, you guys. He's like so amazing. He goes, I'm not gonna, you're tapering. We can pause your taper at any time. We can go slowly. We can take away as little as 0.5 of a milligram, 0.25 of a milligram, and just take it easy. Down. And so we have been doing like so good, and he makes me feel so confident because he tells me all the time like how amazing I'm doing, and it's awesome. I love it. So buy the tick. You ain't gonna get no rise out of me, bitch. So, here's another thing, you guys. Like, What I do whenever I have somebody reach out to me that wants to get on to Sublocade or Suboxone or Vivitrol or whatever, is I have a whole freaking list of providers that do telehealth. I also have a list of providers in each of the 50 states. You guys, I can help you any way you need help. If you just need somebody to ask questions to and just kind of get some suggestions, I'm all about that. I always tell everybody, guess what? I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a counselor. I am a drug addict in recovery who has been through it personally. And I work to help people just like me every day. So any questions you guys have, I'm always here to answer y'all's questions. All you got to do is hit me up. There's a 1-800 number in the bio of my TikTok, and you can call me. I answer that phone. It comes straight to me. So back on the topic of sex and Suboxone and energy in Suboxone. Okay. So a lot of people, I see a lot of people that say things about Suboxone like, you're never going to be able to get off of it. Or if you do get off of it, it's going to be so difficult for you to come off Suboxone. And I really want to totally knock that whole thing out of the water. I want to share something with you guys about withdrawal and Suboxone and how you don't have to go through a hard time to get off Suboxone. You don't have to have horrible withdrawal, and you can be just fine. Let me tell you about it, okay? Now, like I said, I work for a doctor. I work for a literal Suboxone doctor, okay? And so I see people that get on Suboxone, and I see people that come off of it all the time. And so the key with Suboxone is to taper. If you taper low and slow over an extended period of time, you will have minimal withdrawal. And like I said, a lot of the withdrawal is right here. So what do? We say, oh my gosh, I can't take this. I just know it's going to be horrible. I'm dreading it. When we sit there and we build ourselves up in this negative fucking pot of emotions and just telling ourselves how bad it's going to be and how much we're going to struggle, we are setting the tone. And so when you are coming off something like Suboxone or heroin or methadone or whatever you're coming off of, guess what you got to do? You got to go into it like you're going into a boxing match with fucking Muhammad Ali, okay? You got to go into it ready to be on, to fight. You're not going to go, listen to me, you do not have to go through hell to come off Suboxone, okay? Listen to me, you have got to stop being afraid, all right? Because that's not going to do anything to you except for hold you back. Now, how do you know if you're ready to taper off Suboxone? How do you even know? Does anybody know the answer to that? Well, let me tell you, this is how I figured out that I was ready to start tapering. I used to be so hyper-focused on my dose. When I would wake up in the morning, I would be like, it's time for me to take a dose, okay? When it was the middle of the day, I would be like, it's time for my dose. It was almost like that's all I could think about was my dose. Well, years passed, 3 years, 4 years passed, and then I realized one day that I wasn't thinking about my dose anymore. I wasn't so hyper-focused on taking my medication. I wasn't worried about missing my medication. Let me share this with you guys. Missing your medication is not good, but I got to a point where I would miss taking my medication in the morning because it was just the last thing on my mind. You know why? Because I was living life. I was doing my life. I was doing my recovery. And so I wasn't obsessed over worrying about my dose. And so when I missed my dose in the morning and I didn't get sick, I was like, wow, I'm doing great. And so, of course, what I would do if I missed my dose is I wouldn't take it because normally it would be later on in the evening. And so that next morning I would just take my dose. But that's what prompted me to say, you know what? I think I'm ready to taper. And that's when I began tapering. It was March of 2019 when I started tapering. And so that just gives you guys an idea of how slow I have gone, okay? I haven't even jumped off yet. I probably won't jump off of Suboxone until I get down to 0.125 of a milligram. And so I go down August 12th is when I drop again. And so I'm on 2 milligrams right now. August 12th, I'll go down to 1.5.
Baba.
And see, here's the thing. You should not be sick, okay, Heather? This is another thing we need to talk about because some of you guys, I don't know what y'all are taking or what milligrams y'all are on, but you should not be sick from missing one dose.
Could you show them my
Yes.
shit?
So I had a girl reach out to me the other day. Hold on just a second, guys. Hey, Mike.
Hey,
How are you?
how are you? If I could give anyone any advice, it would be you need to own the withdrawals. You need to own it. We were the ones that got onto these substances, and yes, Suboxone did help us, but like you just said, you've got to go into battle.
Yeah.
You've got to own it. You're a human being. You're being medically supervised, so you are supported by a doctor. Just keep talking to your doctor through the whole process, or you support people or whatever. I'm on day 3. I nearly caved last night. It was just too much. It was just too much. And it got to the point where the insomnia was absolutely destroying me. I have not slept in 3 days.
Yep.
But what happens when you get to that day 2 and day 3, you have these little windows of clarity. Little windows of clarity that I open up. And they're nothing like you've ever experienced before unless you remember your sober life. And that was the most amazing thing for me. Just all of a sudden, I became passionate. I became passionate about different things. I'll cry at the drop of a hat, no problem at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm being very real to myself, and I'm just so excited for the next couple of days. Honestly, you know, I was a slave to Suboxone's routine and half-life. I was a slave to the half-life. But, you know, so I kind of did to when you said you'd miss a dose, where I was a slave to it. Once you'll know yourself when the time's right to go with tapering. So, but anyway.
When you
I thought
say
I'd
you
just
were a
jump on.
slave, do you mean like you were like, I can't miss it. I can't miss it. So you were like, it was like a obsession to make sure you took it every day?
Yeah, so it was basically like the half-life for it would wear off. So, okay, say I needed 2 milligrams to hold me for 24 hours, yeah? Well, because I was on half milligram, some days that would only dose me for 11 hours. And then you got to ask yourself the question, do you have a 1 milligram in 11 hours, or do you have half a milligram? So it's at that point it becomes a little bit intricate. So you've just got to work out what your dose is, how long it's holding you for. Because at the end of the day, once it's not holding you, you actually start going into a withdrawal.
Right.
Until you actually take pain. So, yeah. But honestly, I'm just so proud of myself. And it is a scary thing. It is absolutely a scary thing. But hey, look, you know, I got this, and yeah.
Did you get any
Fun.
medication? Did you get any comfort meds from your doctor for insomnia?
I haven't got anything. I've got an appointment with my doctor in 12 minutes. So
Good.
I wanted to just very briefly off, and then I'm going to go and see the doc about something. But yeah, I have been taking something, and it has been holding me quite well. And yeah, that's probably not an ideal scenario. It's not kratom or anything. It's actually what I discussed with you the other day.
Really?
You know, I'm not. Yeah.
Why did you do that? You know what you need to do? Tell your doctor to prescribe you some clonidine or something like clonidine or gabapentin, and you'll be able to sleep.
Yeah.
You'll feel so, or even a low like benzo, like a Klonopin or Valium or something like that, so you can sleep at night. And I'm telling you, man, it'll be a lot better for you.
Well, I've got gabapentin here, but I was just a little bit concerned to take it. That's all. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, I just don't want you to. I don't want you to shift and then be like, oh, well, I really like the way this makes me feel, and then you'll have an issue with that, you know?
No, I've only got like 4 left, and once they're gone, I'll be through the worst of this, and then it'll be fine. So yeah. All right, I've got to show you.
You're gonna go?
I've got to show you something before
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
Is your little boy there?
No.
Okay.
Oh
This is
my
what.
God. Nate, come here.
This is my.
Let me show my son.
This is
Hold on.
my turtle. His name's Ernie.
Look at this. Look at his turtle.
I'll spin the camera around. Hold on. I'll spin the camera around.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Awesome. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
How's that, man?
Dang.
That's cool, huh?
Look at him swimming.
That there is an Australian turtle.
That is so cool.
He's about as big as my hand. So yeah.
That is
And
awesome.
that's his tank there. And there's the view outside. See, look at the side the people are driving on when they go past. Oh, there's no cars now. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God.
They're on the wrong side. Marathon. You don't just turn up on the day and run the marathon. You train. You've got to get your mindset right, and that's what it's about. I was petrified 2 weeks ago to do this, and then all of a sudden I thought, you know what? Every comment I read on YouTube videos says it 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days. You know, so everyone's got this. They just need to prepare for it, like they'd prepare for a day at work or a date, you know, or whatever, like whatever it might be. Just prepare for it, and you've got it.
That's right. Well, you come back
All
on
right,
and
guys.
update us. Come back on and update us in a couple days, okay?